Alright, if you didn't like that half of the previous video was just me reading, then I think you can safely skip this one, because that is what I'm planning on doing for today. There is a bunch of stuff in this adventure guide that I didn't read before. I think I went through the inn here. Let's see. The price will vary depending on the item's quality and gear. With a little star symbol will be more expensive based on their stat. Okay. Items sold at the shop won't have any special effects, but there's no guarantee that you will find powerful equipment during your travels either. Okay. I did not know that, so we don't need to wait around for good stuff from the shop, but still some baseline upgrades from the stuff that we spawn with can be found there. Yeah, we can identify at the shop, we knew that. There are 4 rarities of gear. Okay, this is new. Normal gear with standard properties. Enchanted equipment ranges from +1 to +5. Epic gear. And we have unique, one-of-a-kind equipment that can only be obtained through chests within the dungeon. If you sell it to the store, there's a chance you will get it again through a random event. Interesting. I'm betting those are worth quite a bit of money. Okay, equipment obtained from monsters will differ in power. Different powers can be checked. It can be poor, powerful, miraculous, or shining. Okay, and I suppose if you get some poor gear that you don't even need to identify it, you can just sell it as it is. I see. Yeah, already seen this one. I still don't know the difference between small pillars and large pillars. That will probably come in time. The sewer is the tutorial area, we knew that. And the lab isn't open still, so let's not read about that. Movement, we know this one. While exploring, adventurers will receive various effects. Sometimes penalties, depending on the dungeon's environment. These penalties can be offset through the use of enchantment skills and gear effects. The effects of the penalty will become greater as you dive deeper into the dungeon. You are all uninvited guests after all. Now, interesting. You already know about the control level. You're gonna want to keep this up. That increases drop rate. And mana corruption is increasing together with control. And it is bad. We can rest. We don't yet know what the rest side looks like. But it restores everything. Max LP is temporarily increased by 1. This sounds like temporary. Well, not sure how temporary it is. Maybe it's measured in a couple hundred steps or so. But what this sounds like is basically a free first aid, because that uses LP. Maybe. Restore skills usage. Rarely an incapacitated character will be revived, so that is chance-based. When resting with mana corruption, there's a chance your character will become sick. Also, that is what the first perk of intelligence is 4, where you're less likely to get sick. Okay. So that is for the longer explorations. You can restore HP while exploring. First aid uses 1 LP to restore 55 to 80% of max HP. There are camping skills. And we know the resting. Okay. Sickness. When resting inside the dungeon, an adventurer will sometimes become sick, depending on the sickness. Oh boy, there are actually multiple types. The adventurer will be weakened in various ways, so be careful. These sicknesses can be cured by resting at an inn or cured at the Temple of Ordanon. Okay, so you can possibly get multiple sicknesses. And I'm guessing that they stack? But still, doesn't sound like it is immediately fatal. So maybe the milder ones can be ignored. Oh, what's this? Menace. Within the dungeon, there are areas where fearsome monsters are often sighted. If you want to encounter these monsters, you may want to use an inviting incense. The above icon will be displayed on the right side of the screen. You would do well to be wary in areas with this icon. Oh, so we can do a bit of an elite hunting. That's interesting. Or maybe like optional bosses. I like the sound of that. Okay, if adventurers are incapacitated with more than 50% mana corruption, they can be turned to ash. And we need to use the temple to resurrect them. I see. Abyssal pits will appear inside of dungeons from time to time. Multiple enemies will appear from here, forcing the party to fight multiple battles, but will gain many rewards if they are victorious. Okay, so it's kinda like a swarm attack. And I'm guessing it stays there until you manually trigger it. Interesting. We also got a mana well. Will occasionally appear in a dungeon. One adventurer can go down the mana well. They will gain the following effects. The currently equipped gear will be enchanted. The number of enchantments and the strength is random. Or the adventurer's body will mutate. Depending on the mutation, these effects can vary and will have advantages and disadvantages. If the adventurer gains an inconvenient mutation, they can be cured with the Holy Sigil of Ordanon. Okay. This mutation kinda sounds like it is permanent. Interesting. Oh, so maybe you can do something like having additional characters just to farm beneficial mutations. Interesting. I'm not that much of a power gamer, so maybe I won't do this all that much. But still, if I can stack a couple beneficial mutations, maybe I will do that. We will see. Monolith sometimes appear in the dungeon. You can gain a blessing by touching a monolith. This effect will be lost when moving to a different floor. Okay, so a little bit of on-floor buffing. We know the Elvish Holy Sites. That is where we can rest. You can recover, but you will temporarily lose 1 max HP. LP, sorry. Okay, that's weird. So using the site temporarily removes a max LP. but resting also increases it by 1. Therefore it stays the same. I don't really get it. Unless resting and recovering are two separate things. Yeah, maybe you can recover without resting. In that case, I can understand it. So you would kinda need to do both of those. And it would just offset to regular LP. Next time we find one of these sites, we will just try that out. We already found a trash pile before. With higher mana corruption, we can find better items. And Author of a Nameless God. It is said that praying at these altars will grant modest wishes. It is said that those wallowing in mana will gain rarer benefits. So, if you have high mana, so I'm guessing that means the mages. We'll see. Anything in combat that we don't already know. The monsters will slaughter you if you choose to do nothing. To avoid that, you will need to pay attention to the enemy's actions. Battle can be paused at any time. Indeed. When using a skill, the adventurer will enter cooldown period, unable to use skills for a while. So you cannot chain multiple skills with the same adventurer. I kinda gathered that already. Monsters will target skills on the formation panel, and the owner of the skill that is attacked will take damage. In other words, the more skills an adventurer has on the formation panel, the more likely they are to be targeted. Yeah, I have kind of inferred that already, but it's nice to have it spelled out. Additionally, skills on the top row are more likely to be targeted. Obviously, that's why I put the frontliners up there. This means that adventurers with high defense will become effective as tanks if they have skills on the top row and the middle row. Some skills have the effect of attracting enemy attacks, making these characters even more effective as tanks. I see. All of these were tutorial pop-ups. Anything new in the formation? If no skill is set on the panel, or if the owner of that skill is incapacitated, the enemy will target a party member randomly. Okay, I have seen that happen. So generally, you do not want to have an empty grid. Okay. The top 3 boxes represent the front line, the middle 3 represent the middle line, and the bottom 3 represent the back line. Logical. The top 3 boxes are most likely to be targeted by enemies, and ranged attacks like magic are likely to target the bottom 3. Okay, I will keep that in mind. The range of enemy skills varies, but there is a logic to them. You will gain an advantage in battle by slotting skills of characters with high defense or resistance in slots that are prone to attacks. Though, so it's probably not gonna hurt for us to figure out the kind of attacks that the enemies do. Then we can plan accordingly. You can roughly determine the power of monsters by their level. You should be careful if the monster's level is higher than your party's adventurer level. Kind of obvious. The remaining HP of monsters will be displayed, so use this information to decide whether you want to continue fighting or flee. In other words, if you use scratch damage, get the fuck out of there. Time between attacks is displayed as a gauge. Attack types are shown as an icon. Oh, haven't even paid attention to that. Okay. Line will display from the enemy that they are currently attacking. You can discern what kind of attack it will be from the color of the line. Oh, I think that is something new. Red for physical, blue for magic, white for breath. Okay. A red exclamation mark will be displayed 1 second before a monster's attack. Utilize the pause feature to check details for the monster's attack to plan for it. And the bigger skills usually have a wind-up of exactly 1 second. So you kind of have to time those before this. Interesting. You will sometimes encounter elite monsters during battle. Yeah, they can have special abilities. We have seen one. Skill lock and Q, we already know. When using a skill during combat, you will either use morale or mana. Morale is used for physical and breath skills, while mana is used for magic skills. Slowly recover during combat. We have checked all the status ailments. We know we can pause combat. We know we can flee. Naturally, you win by defeating the monsters and lose if everyone is dead. Yeah, you get experience, money, and gear. What about skills? We got action skills, enhancement skills, camp skills. You cannot slot those, they only work when camping. And there are passive skills. There are 2 types of passive skills: status passives, which can be obtained when leveling up, and item passives that are attached to items. Easy enough. Ooh, there's a lot about action skills. Okay, 3 affinities: physical, magic and breath. Breath damage cannot be reduced with defense. Breath attacks will always hit, but will they reduce damage if the target's breath resist succeeds? Okay, so we can treat that as some kind of super attack. We cannot really brace for it. Okay. And it always hits, so we cannot even evade. I hope at some point we will find a buff ability that can increase breath resist. From the sounds of it, it is necessary at certain points. Okay, physical damage can be reduced with defense, and they can be evaded. Magic damage cannot be reduced with defense, but magic resist works against it. Magic attacks will always hit, but they reduce damage if the target succeeds on a magic resist. Okay, we have 3 types of distance. Melee range, that only goes for the front line, mid-range and long range. And the effects have their range too. If only one icon is highlighted, it means it will affect a single enemy. And if all of them are highlighted, it means it affects all enemies. And when targeting allies, displays the effect range of the skill with the slotted skill as the center. Okay, duration can be increased or decreased with gear and skills. Ooh, interesting. that kinda sounds important. Since you remember, if you keep hitting a monster with abilities, they will gradually build up resistance, so if you can increase the duration, let's say paralyze, then it is still just one activation, so you have more time for the monster's extra resist to go back down. Interesting. So you probably actually can stack something infinitely, as long as you space it out with extra duration. Very interesting. Some skills have a cast time. There is a chance that the cast will be cancelled if a character takes damage while casting. Need to keep that one in mind. Skills have cooldowns. While on cooldown, only instant skills will be displayed. The cooldown varies by race. Okay, skills can have a number of times they can be used. Skill use can be recovered by resting or being healed. Also, it doesn't even automatically replenish itself once you're out of the dungeon. Okay. Instant skills are not affected by the cooldown of other skills. For example, there are two regular skills, Skill A and Skill B. If Skill A goes into cooldown, Skill B will also go into cooldown and cannot be used. However, if Skill B is an instant skill, it won't be affected by Skill A going into cooldown. In other words, they can be used while other skills are on cooldown. But be mindful that instant skills do have their own cooldown times, and these cooldown times tend to be longer. Alright, I think I understand. These are probably some special interrupt skills. We probably have already seen one. There was that stunning one that had a separate icon for it that we haven't seen before. Maybe that was to signify an instant skill. Okay, and some skills can only be used when certain weapons are equipped. Enhancement skills take effect simply by being slotted when the cost is paid in advance. Yeah, reduces max morale or mana, we already have some of those. Camping skills can be used while camping. Well duh. Buffs gained through camping skills will be removed after walking a certain distance. Now about the passive skills. Some skills have synergy effects. Slotting these skills in the formation panel will create a synergy effect with adjacent skills. There are many types of synergy effects, such as changing the specialization of a skill or adding additional effects. You will be able to customize and enhance your skills by using skill synergies. Well, obviously. Okay, anything in here about leveling? Yeah, HP increases depending on race. 1 stat point per level. You can obtain up to 30 SP. Okay, hold on. Obtain, like, as in total? Can you level above 30 but gain no points? Or is level 30 the maximum? That's something that we would need to check. Ability points, 1 per level. You can obtain up to 30. High rank adventurer points can be gained after level 31. seemingly used to further improve the adventurer. Oh, okay, so kinda like epic levels in certain tabletop RPGs. Okay, that's cool. So you cannot completely max out everything. We still need to think about builds. I can work with this. Health, LP. Ability represents the adventurer's talent. Ability levels can be raised by spending ability points, up to 20 levels. Abilities can be checked by clicking. Okay, yeah, we know that. The number of skills an adventurer uses can be increased by raising their ability level. Okay. Mana corruption. Okay. Morale is a resource. And mana is the other. Strength, physical damage and crit multiplier. I think we already know this. Yeah, this is also displayed when you're there to improve these. Okay, special effects. We have racial effects, enhancement skill effects, camping skill effects, and environmental effects. I'm guessing they are divided like this. So buffs of the same type do not stack. Okay. Ooh, we have something for all the stats. Let's see. Base attack power. Base value of physical damage. So this is literally the damage value that we need to be seeing. Ah, the higher this value is, the more damage you deal with physical attacks, and the more you heal from healing effects. So our fighters are also going to be healed up better. Ah, same with magic power. So even the basic heal is going to slowly increase in power as we increase in power. Okay. Accuracy modifier. Okay, it's just adding up to the base accuracy. Evasion rate. When a character successfully evades, they will go into an unstable state, which incurs a penalty for that character's evasion, so you can just continuously evade everything. If a character successfully evades in an unstable state, the penalty is further increased. Okay, I suppose this is to keep the rogues in check. So those with maximum dexterity cannot simply evade everything. I see. Defense is defense. Block rate. For physical attacks only. When successfully blocking, the character will receive 0 physical damage. The character's block rate cannot exceed 70%. Okay, but that is still a respectable number. Crit modifier. Ah, here we go. Modifies the crit rating set for each skill. So it does modify the base. For example, if the base crit chance is 5% and the crit modifier is 100%, the crit rate of that skill would be 10%. Okay, so the synergy that I am currently running with, that 40% crit modifier, is not actually adding 40% crit chance, rather 40% of whatever the base is. Okay, it's very nice to have it cleared up this early. Crit multiplier is what's added to the damage. Modifiers are rather obvious. Effect duration increases buffs, decreases debuffs. Discovery, that's the item drop rate. Greed is the amount of money obtained. Drain HP, while in combat slowly recover HP based on how much damage the character dealt to the enemy. This effect will pause for 1 second when the character takes damage from an enemy, unless you have that passive ability from Constitution. Morale drain. Recover morale based on the damage dealt to the enemy. Same with mana. Cooldown reduction for skills except for instant. So the I is not item, but instant. It's just there for items, because they are technically instant, I guess. Decreases cooldown time for instant skills. Cast time reduction. Damage conversion. So I guess damage conversion dex will turn the base damage from strength to dexterity, and the conversion wisdom turns magic skills from intelligence to wisdom based. Okay, we can do different things with this. Okay, I think wisdom is the one. That was the main attribute for burn damage. So you can actually do a burn mage if you get damage conversion wisdom with it. That's very interesting. Corruption rate. Increases the rate of gaining mana corruption. I don't really see why you want that. Gaining more corruption faster means you cannot stay in the dungeon for that long, unless you're really good, which I am currently not. Danger increases the chance of encountering elite monsters. Encounter increases the rate at which random events happen. That might be nice. Gear has rarity. It has strength. They can come blessed. And items have approximate value. The higher this value, the more powerful it is. Okay, so just for comparison, when an adventurer's level reaches 30 or above, he or she gains an advanced adventurer point for each level. By spending advanced adventurer points, each of the adventurer's abilities can be further enhanced. These enhancements can be cancelled and reassigned at any time. Also kinda like further refining the build. I see. But you're gaining only one of these for each level, whereas you gained ability and skill points for every level until 30. Yeah, okay, so this is probably for getting those few missing things. But level 30 is quite a ways away still. Alright, now I think I know everything that the game wants me to know. Next time we are going back to the first real dungeon. If you watched this far, then you already know all this stuff. So, see you in the real next episode.